Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Caden Kubler and welcome to Caden's Corner. The Tennessee Volunteers have a really good football team. When you look at the SEC, everybody's talking about the Texases, the Georgias, and the Alabamas. But this Tennessee team is very dangerous and they're led by their Heisman contending quarterback, Nico Iamaleava. This kid has taken the college football world by storm and he is a draft scout's dream. He's 6'6", has a monster arm, and is extremely mobile. As a freshman, he's making big time plays on big stages and he's showing why he's going to be the eventual #1 overall pick. But not only does this Tennessee team have talent and NFL draft prospects on the offensive side of the ball, but they have a great draft prospect on the defensive side of the ball in James Pierce Jr., a stud edge rusher. They are extremely balanced on both sides of the ball, and I believe that they are national title contenders led by their freshman quarterback, Nico Iamaleava. But let's take a deep dive of this team and look at them first on the offensive side of the ball. As I mentioned, they're led by their stud quarterback who's taken the college football world by storm. He sat behind Joe Milton for most of the year last year until he opted out when he was going to the draft, so Nico finally got his shot in the bowl game against Iowa. He looked tremendous, and this was a precursor for what was to come from Nico Iamaleava this upcoming year. And he's picked up right where he's left off. He's been nothing short of a Heisman caliber quarterback, and he's been tremendous. He's poised, he's confident, he can make any throw on the field, and he runs this Josh Heupel-led offense so well. When I watch Nico Iamaleava play, the one thing that stands out to me is his accuracy, but just his pure arm strength. There's been so many times where he's in the pocket and he can go from his first read to his second read to his third read, and he can find that backside post, and he has no air under the ball. He's throwing straight lasers out there. This kid has extreme arm talent. He never gets sped up in the pocket. He can so easily go through his different reads, and that's why people are so excited about him moving forward. And when Tennessee has asked him to get it done with his legs, he has speed. He can get away from linebackers at the college level. Normally when you look at college quarterbacks, a trait that makes them so great is their running ability. But the thing that separates the guys that are great in college versus the guys that are great in the pros, it's the intangibles in the pocket. It's the ability to go through your reads. It's the ability to be accurate, be on time. And Nico, only as a freshman, starting a handful of games, has really impressed everybody. And this team also just isn't explosive in the passing game, and they can get it done on the ground as well. They're led by running back Dylan Sampson, who's a workhorse back. Through 4 games, he is averaging 112 yards and already has 10 touchdowns. When I look at this Tennessee team, the word that comes to my mind is balance. They are balanced offensively and they're balanced defensively, but when you break it down and look at their offense, they're balanced in the passing game and they're balanced in the running game. On the defensive side of the ball, they can stop the run, but they can also get after the passer. But looking at this offense, Josh Heupel has done a tremendous job. It can come at you from multiple ways, and that's what makes him so dangerous. And you can tell that his players would truly go to war for him after they went on the road and beat Oklahoma, the place that he won a national championship and later fired him. The Volunteers dominated the Sooners and would give Heupel the game ball. Now we'll go back to this word balance. The offense can do so much to beat teams, but let's look at how great this defense is. They are currently allowing the fewest total yards per game in all of college football at 176, and they're one of 2 teams that are allowing under 200 yards per game. And not only that, they're not letting teams score. In a total of 4 games, they have only given up 28 points. Now you may be skeptical. Like most SEC teams, they schedule cupcake opponents for the first 3 or 4 games, maybe some weak non-conference games. Nope. Not for Tennessee. Through the 4 games that they've played, they've already faced 2 top 25 opponents and dominated both of them. This team feels different because they don't have to rely on an explosive offensive performance to win games. But on the other side, if this defense is struggling and they have to get into a shootout, Tennessee can put up 60 points. Now to start the season, Tennessee was the preseason number 15th ranked team in the country, and they've moved all the way up to number 4 as we head into week 6. Now when you look at their remaining schedule, they're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. In the 8 games that they have remaining, they only have 2 more ranked opponents. They're going to be favored in all of the 6 games against non-ranked teams, and I'm assuming they'll take care of business. That'll put them at 10 wins. But you look at these 2 ranked opponents, they're both inside of the top 5. The first one is Alabama, the #1 team in the country, at home. This is going to be a great test for Tennessee. We saw Tennessee a few years ago have this classic game where they played Alabama and they won on a game-winning field goal. I think with the SEC, you have 4 teams inside of the top 5 that are all playing each other like a revolving door. They're going to trade losses at a certain point. So I would completely expect Tennessee to shock the nation and beat #1 Alabama, and everyone is calling Nico Iamaleava a Heisman frontrunner. honor after his performance. But then a few weeks later, they're going to go on the road and play Georgia in Athens. Now, we saw this Georgia team lose to Alabama, pick up their first loss in the SEC. They're still going to have to play Texas, and they have to play Tennessee now. The SEC is just an absolute bloodbath. I think Tennessee drops this game, but I think they ultimately split versus Georgia and Alabama, ending their season 11-1. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about this team winning the SEC because it's an absolute gauntlet. I'm worried about this team making the college football playoffs, which they will absolutely do. Once they make the dance, they're going to be extremely dangerous and nobody's going to want to see them. You're going to have a full year of Nico Iamaleava starting under center. We think he's playing good football now. I can't imagine the football he's playing when January arrives. And when it's all said and done, Tennessee's going to be one of the toughest teams to beat in the entire nation, and nobody wants to see them in January. Just because you have other big dogs in the SEC like Alabama, Georgia, and Texas, do not forget about the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.